Clover Health is all of a sudden in the news. Why? Because of good old Wall Street bets on Reddit. So it's been a while for them to move into the healthcare world. You know, obviously it started with GameStop, then AMC, BlackBerry, all these. Why is Clover Health being talked about among Reddit investors?
Well, it's interesting because we don't really know, right? It's kind of a mob kind of thing, and you never know what the mob's going to go next.
So hysteria.
It's kind of hard to predict. But I mean, I think the main reason is Clover. They have a high short interest, so that was kind of the reasoning behind the AMC and the GameStop. Is that you have a high short interest. So if a bunch of people buy the stock, you crush the shorts, they're squeezed, and they have to buy the stock, or their brokers make them buy the stock back, and that can make a stock run up. Their short interest, I mean, GameStop short interest, I believe, was over 100%. So I mean, they had a super high short interest, which is very easy to squeeze. This one is more like, I think 36, I'm doing it from memory, 36% of the float is sold short, which is, not, I mean, it's one of the highest that's sold short, but that is not super duper high, not like the GameStop situation.
Right. But why is it being sold short?
Oh, well, it's being sold short, I think, because there's a short report that came out. Hindenburg Research said the FDA is investigating them for marketing practices. I'm sorry, the SEC,
the Department of Justice.
Department of Justice, thank you, is investigating them for marketing practices and everything. Back up a little bit. Clover Health is an insurance company, but they're trying a whole different model. They're trying artificial intelligence to kind of help doctors with their diagnosing. So, I mean, this to me, it's kind of fascinating, this idea that computers are better at doing things than human beings are. And I'm not sure I 100% agree with that. I mean, I think in some instances, computers, it depends on how much you believe in data and data ruled decision making. But this kind of AI solution is all about that. So it's all about letting doctors know what the kind of data suggests that they should do, and giving them the data, really. And Clover's also offering a payment that's twice what the market has been doing to providers, to healthcare providers.
Right, but the short report is pointing to that and saying,
right,
if y'all are paying providers twice as much as the going rate, and considering that this money comes from the government when it's Medicare, they're calling that basically an alleged kickback. Y'all are doubling the going rate, and it's the government's money. So, it'll be interesting to see how this shakes out. Definitely. This was a splashy SPAC when it went public. It was led by Chamath Palihapitiya. Obviously a big name in the investing world. And so he's had to come out and defend Clover Health, as a result. Now, when Hindenburg published their short report, they actually said, we're not taking a short position in this stock. We're just publishing this for the good of the world. So that's a little bit of a head scratcher. Yeah, I don't know if maybe they've taken a short stake later, but when they published it, they were like, we're just doing it. We're not taking a short interest. They didn't, disclose a stake. So it's a head scratcher for sure.
I don't think of shorts as public interest people.
Right.
I mean,
exactly.
Trying to make money with the rest of us, but
there's got to be some, there's something, some motive.
Do you know, Corinne? I didn't think about doing this. Are they anonymous, or do we know who's behind Hindenburg Research? I mean,
right. Obviously, when Citron comes out with the short, it's Andrew Left. Right. I don't know who runs Hindenburg Research. It's not a new name. I Googled it and it says Nathan Anderson is the activist investor there. So yeah, when it's anonymous, that is definitely something to really squint your eyes at.
Sometimes they're completely anonymous, in which case I take that with a huge grain of salt from
exactly.
an anonymous thing. If it's a public short, they can keep I believe they can keep their investments. If they're, as long as they're not a publicly traded company, they can keep their investments private, so you don't know if you're telling the truth or not telling. The same with anybody else. I mean, And to be fair, there are people on the bullish side of any stock who typically often have interest in what they're saying. So any commentator on stocks who hold a position have that inherent kind of bias. But at the Motley Fool, we believe it's better to have skin in the game. So if you own shares, that creates a bias, sure, but it also makes your research a lot better because your money's involved and you want to be right. So skin in the game is good. So I wouldn't blame them for having a short. I mean, why would I'd ask, okay, why aren't you short? I mean, what the heck?
Right.
You're just saying
It's
they're sketchy and bad, but you don't want to make money from it. I don't understand that.
Yeah. So I guess long story short with Clover, it's certainly gone up a lot since this renewed interest. There's a lot of uncertainty, especially since the Department of Justice investigation is real. Whether or not it's common or really concerning is to be determined. But keep an eye on it if it's one you own. We'll definitely follow up when we learn more about the outcome of that.